Hello! Welcome back to the Nobody Asked Our Opinion podcast, where two complete ding-dongs talk about all things pop culture and give our opinion about it even though you didn't ask for it. My name is JJ.
And this ding-dong is Joanna.
And we're going to talk about some bullshit.
Yeah, all the bullshit, because so much bullshit.
So much bullshit happened. Some cool bullshit, some not so cool bullshit.
Oh, just some bullshit.
And just genuine bullshit.
Let's start with the top of the bullshit. Hey, so you know how I like to complain about the fact we still don't have another Game of Thrones book?
Yep.
We're getting a new series.
Yep, absolutely.
That's not about the fucking book.
Nope.
George R. R. Martin's trying to kill me.
This new show will be fully produced, aired, and we'll have like talks about a second season before we get word of another book.
Oh no, the series will air, start out really good, people will get really into it, it's going to crash very hard with inconsistencies out of nowhere, and then blow up in everybody's face, and we still won't have a book.
Because that's how George R. R. Martin shows end up kind of that's their trajectory. They burn really hot real fast, and then once they get past source material, they're like, oh fuck, what are we gonna do?
Well, this is gonna be completely without source material, right? Because it's like a prequel.
It's supposed to be a prequel. It's supposed to be like about the House of Targaryen before the Game of Thrones the start of Game of Thrones. So we see like young like, is it Daemon? Wasn't he like her brother?
Daemon.
I mean, they have a dick on. I don't know.
Daemon. Yes, we'll call him Daemon.
I don't know. They have strange names.
And so you went with Daemon?
They went with Dickon.
Dickon is an unusual. Daemon is I dated a Daemon. That is a regular name.
So was Kevin. Uncle Kevin.
Yes. But sure. So following the young Targaryens as they go crazy.
Some bullshit, yeah.
Probably Mad King Aerys. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's not a whole lot of like information about that I could find, and I tried very little to find it.
Cool, it's really just, hey, guess what? This is happening. Joanna's pissed.
and it's gonna this show is gonna be like fully produced and aired, and they'll be in talks for another bullshit side series, and then we'll get no word from.
Oh yeah, no, I think that there's like 3 series in talks right now, like 3 different series, and I'm just like, nah. Let's talk about something better. Apparently a Flintstone series is coming, starring Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, in a la kind of DuckTales, how they kind of brought DuckTales and the animated show into like the 21st century. They're trying to do that with the Flintstones, and Elizabeth Banks is supposed to, I think she's the voice of Pebbles. So it's going to chronicle Pebbles in her like early 20s, and Fred is like near retirement age, and the Flintstones famously was during like the Stone Age family. Now they're going into the Bronze Age, and like what that means, and like cool technology and tools.
Less dinosaurs?
Who knows?
I don't know. That's exciting. I love Elizabeth Banks. I loved the DuckTales reboot. So anything that is anything remotely resembles the DuckTales reboot, I'm 100% for. This is either going to be great or garbage, and I'm super excited to figure out which one it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to read if they've announced any other names attached to this, but I only see
Elizabeth Banks.
I only see Elizabeth Banks as
You know what? That's all I need.
What's her name?
Just need Elizabeth Banks, and like I'm sold.
You're like, I'm cool with this.
I'm cool with this. I mean, the only way it'd be better if they're like, and here's John Goodman.
Right, yeah, he'd be great like Fred.
Oh, because he was Fred in the live action.
He was Fred in the movies, that's right. Oh my god, I forgot about those. Oh, Rosie O'Donnell wasn't she Betty?
She's Betty.
Who was
and then Barney? I think Rick Moranis, I think, was Barney.
Oh.
I feel like it was Rick Moranis. It's been a really long time since
those movies were so long ago.
It was so long ago. They were so campy and cheesy and stupid, and I'm here for it. Yeah, some more Flintstones. Let's do it. Handmaid's Tale came back. JJ's boyfriend and I watch it religiously now that I'm all caught up and I could watch trailers and do things. So we watched all 3 episodes the day before it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, which was exciting. We were like, what? Is this for real?
Not because we're cool and we get things ahead of time like other cool people.
It's like, we got screeners.
No, not even a little bit. But hey, anybody from Hulu want to give us screeners for things? We're totally here for that.
We can do that.
We'll talk about it. But no, it just released a day early. And so we watched it on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, and it was glorious. And
they didn't just release the one, they released all 3.
Yeah, all 3 episodes a day early.
I was like, whoa.
Watched all of them. I'm excited to see where this show goes. I hope it doesn't last a whole lot longer, though.
Because you're thinking like, oh, this is really pushing to...
We're running out of story.
Yeah, they're like, what else could they possibly do to this?
This poor woman.
Yeah. I read an interesting op-ed from the Washington Post, and it posits that because throughout the series we get lots of like violent moments, not just directed at June herself, but at other handmaids and even to Gilead members and commanders and things like that. This op-ed posits that like all the violence that we've seen before kind of served a purpose in the storyline and drove the story forward. Where now that we've started our new season, we get a lot of violence right at the top, and seemingly for no purpose, seemingly just for shock value. And I don't know if what your thoughts on the use of violence starting this season. Spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the first 3 episodes of Handmaid's Tale, there's an extended there are extended scenes of torture that Aunt Lydia, June succumbs to at the behest of Aunt Lydia and some creepy torture guy that they just introduced.
Who's very pleasant the entire time he's torturing people.
Yeah.
And it's very disturbing.
He's incredibly polite. He's like, oh, I would like to know this information from you. Oh, you don't want to? I'm going to take your nails now. Kind of thing. Oh, you don't want to talk to us? We're going to waterboard you for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was intense. It was a lot. I think that it served its purpose, but I do think that they spent too much time with it for us to really, it could have been we see the start of a torture and don't see it finished out, and then it cuts away to something else and we come back and we see the end of a different torture. That tells and paints the same picture of, oh, this woman's going through hell right now.
Traumatic things.
Without having to show it. Because I do remember while watching the show when they were going to pull out the nails, we all actively turned away.
We're like,
we're not going to watch this. We're going to talk about something else. JJ's boyfriend was talk about something, and it was the only time I was allowed to actually start talking about drag queens where he didn't tell me to shut up. It was great. And then all of a sudden we see out of the corner of our eyes that she goes, okay, I'll do it, and we're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much as an audience member you can take, and I am notorious for not being able to handle a whole lot.
Yeah, and I'm notorious for being able to handle a lot,
and that was too much.
And even just the thought of pulling somebody's fingernails, and it's not just oh, they're gonna anesthetize her finger. They're gonna take pliers and just straight rip out her fingernail, and that's kind of intense. The op-ed is arguing that all this violence at the top is more exhausting than it is helping the storyline and helping the characterization of June and her motivations. It's because it is such shocking examples of violence as before we've had issues, we've had moments of violence. We've seen a guy get his head fucking run over. We've seen elongated scenes of rape. We've had instances of extended violence, but to start, I don't know if it is just because we start the series with such intense violence, or the fact that it was much more like waterboarding that's like a crime against humans. Like that's like UN sanctions, consequences for people who waterboard. Like this is like real world implications.
I think that, well, I mean, so is rape. That's also real world implications.
No way! What?
I mean, I'd hate to blow your mind like that, but so is rape. But I think that I can understand, because I didn't read the article, but I can understand the sentiment of going, hey, this is a little too much. And because, like I said, I'm that person who I can watch a lot, but it, like, destroys my soul a little bit, which is why I don't watch a lot of, like, war movies and things like that, because my poor little heart can't handle it. And I can see where having this much of it, because it was like, oh my God, here comes another one. Oh my God, here comes one more thing. Oh, now they're shoving her in a box. Oh, now we're going to rip out her fingernails. Oh, no, now we're going to have her talk to these people that were her friends. And, oh, nope, we just killed them in front of her because that's our form of torture right now. Because even if she was like, nope, it's fine. It was just like, oh my God, this is one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. I think, though, it didn't necessarily have to be quite so graphic for the point to be across. Because, like I said, there could have been cuts and have it show like, oh my God, she's still being tortured, but it's something different now. And then you see a cut to something else and you're seeing the end of something else that is not, again, like I said, it's just so volatile. But I think that it does, story and character-wise, add to the character of June, because this is someone who just went through all of the bullshit. And she still has to be this character, she's still this character that has this strength as like, hey, I'm going to survive this and I'm going to take the next step, as, even though she's being sent off to a breeding colony now. You're like, you can still see within her that she has this strength, even though she went through all of this traumatic stuff on top of all of the trauma she's already been through. So I think for a character-wise, because you're like, what more can they do to this woman, but she's still not breaking? On that aspect, I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But I do understand and agree that I'm like, I never need to sit through that episode again.
Right. I also wonder, like, at this point, wouldn't you... I think it's an interesting part of June's character is the fact that they don't just straight up kill her. They just torture her. They're clearly using June as an example to the other handmaidens and possibly to the rest of Gilead as an example of this is what you do when you don't follow the rules. We're not going to straight up and kill you. We're just going to make your life a living hell. And look what we're doing to this poor woman who has done her job. Technically, she's given birth to a child.
Yeah, I know, and immediately got it out of there. No.
Yeah, and correct. Yes, but like on paper, she's done her job. She has done a lot of things to, put thorns in the sides of Gilead.
Well, and I don't think it's so much that she has to be an example, because they've killed a lot of other people for far less than what she's done. That's my point. No, and I don't think it's that she needs to be made an example of, is that we're going to still torment you regardless. It's, we still need your birthing abilities, because there's not enough of you around. That's why they needed to get those handmaids back that were on the run. Not because they needed to punish or whatever. They're like, no, we need these girls because we need them to be able to give birth.
Yeah, but also you can't deny that they're using her as a means to control the other girls.
I mean, to an extent, but they're not doing a very good job at it.
Well, no, there's always, but from the get-go, there was all this whole underground system of the Marthas that we find out that have been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that we don't even know about. So, like, from the get-go, things were not running according to their plans, but it's clear that they're keeping June alive as a means to kind of control or to send a message at the very least to the other. They do that all the time with all the public shaming that they do with the girls. They always use the transgressions of one girl to send as a means to control the others. And in this case, with June, it's at this point, it's such an extreme that the Monica Hess of the Washington Post posits that it's too much. It's exhausting. Like it's it's beyond what needs to happen to a character to allow, because up to this point we are on board with June being this, strong character in the midst of horrific circumstances. There's no need for her to go through an extended scene of torture to keep that narrative going. No,
but again, we're at the point too where though the show writers have already brought it to a 10 as far as like what they're doing, that the only thing they can do now is extended torture because they need to be able to up what they've done. And that's the problem with where we're at with the show. I think it's still a very well written, put together show, but it can only last. My prediction is 1.5 more seasons. Yeah. That's it. Otherwise, it's just gonna be absurd with what they do to her because they can't do anything.
They can't possibly do more to this woman.
No. All right, let's talk about something happy before we move on to Drag Race because that's all depressing. In the spirit of talking about Drag Race, my two favorite things joined together on the internet, and I'm so happy. So, Broadway Equity Fights AIDS did a masked singer-style competition called the Broadway Masked Singer, and it was for COVID relief funds for actors who've been out of work. And they had different Broadway celebrities come on and sing songs in ridiculous costumes, and then they had a panel of judges who were guessing who it was. And the way that the different competitors would stay on the show is that the people viewing live could vote for their favorites by donating money to Broadway Equity Fights AIDS. And it was brilliant. It was so wonderful. I was so excited. And the reason why I'm meshing it all together is because the first day of guest judges, we had Jackie Cox.
I love Jackie. She's so sweet.
And I was like, why is Jackie Cox here? And she knows a lot about Broadway. Go figure. She was also kind of there just to kind of get people talking more. But having her there was fun.
I think she even called herself a Broadway queen when she was on her season. That could be wrong, but I feel like that she said that she was like
at least Broadway adjacent. Like I don't think she is a full on Broadway queen like other like
a Peppermint or who's actually been on Broadway.
Yeah.
Or like Vinegar Strokes, who's actually been on
Broadway. Yeah, or who like fully incorporates a lot of Broadway songs into what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But she's knowledgeable. She's a New York queen. She and she's super pleasant, has a fun tone to her voice to listen to when she's talking. So she was on the first episode, which was cool. And then also they make a lot of like random Drag Race like references, and me being a newbie Drag Race person, if I was watching this a year ago, I would have been like, I don't get that reference. I don't understand what they're talking about. But now I can do like the total Captain America. Like I understood that reference. So at one point there was a costume that was the potato.
Ooh.
One was brilliant because the potato was like shaking her potato booty and doing all sorts of stuff. And they're like, we want the potato to stay on, but the potato didn't get enough votes from the previous episode to continue on the next one. And then the two people hosting, they go, wait! We're not ready to see you go yet.
And you're like,
yeah. And even like the judges, because they're all a bunch of like, Broadway gay queens, basically, and they're all like,
who are the judges? Do you remember?
I don't think there have been anybody you would have recognized as far as like big, like they were like big name celebrities, but they're big name
industry,
but they're big like industry people, and so you hear people go, "Yes, Candy," and I died. I was like, "Yes," but it was fun. They raised a lot of money. The winner was Jelani. I can't think of his last name right now, who was in Ain't Too Proud, the Temptations musical. His voice is gorgeous. And he, on his own, I think raised like $25,000 for votes. So they made a lot of money. And so that's a lot of out of work Broadway actors who are getting to have money while not working.
Survive,
and live
pay
and do
bills
things.
and shit.
Especially while we're in this fun transition into
That's awesome.
the Broadway opening again. So that was fun and it was exciting, and I think the episodes are still on YouTube for a while, so I highly recommend watching them. They're like an hour each, and it's a fun time.
And Jackie Cox just like randomly pops up in the
episode? She's in the first one. She's on the judges panel for the first episode, so she's in there the whole episode.
Got it. Okay.
So watch it, it's fun. It's great even just to have on the background, because you also just get really nice singing because they're all Broadway celebrities. And you just go,
You're like, oh, this is why I love the theater.
This is what good singing sounds like.
That's why I miss live theater.
As opposed to listening to The Masked Singer sometimes, which is not always great singing. On that note, should we talk about some Drag Race stuff? Because we have all sorts of bullshit.
Oh my god, so much bullshit.
Okay, so we're going to transition over to our Drag Race 20, where we spend exactly 20 minutes talking about Drag Race, because if left to our own devices, we would talk for far too long.
Yeah, this podcast would be 3 years long.
Without stopping.
Like, no cuts. This episode will last thousands of hours.
So here we go, and we are starting in 3, 2, 1.
Bam! So we get new girls this week.
Oh my god, Down Under is so wonderful.
We got Down Under.
It's so good. I've never... Okay, so I've always wanted a season that had only comedy queens, and now we get it.
There's a lot of really funny girls.
They're so campy, and that's
so
what I love about drag.
So campy. I think we've talked about like the looks of the queens, because they released their entrance looks like a long time ago. But I'm like, still, I love Coco Jumbo in that purple. She's good with that high ass like brunette hair. It was with the blonde highlights,
and she has all of the teeth in her mouth. Like, and it was great because we don't always remember the names of the girls when the season start out. But I was like, I love her, and JJ goes, which one? I was like, the one with the teeth,
the one with the teeth,
the one with all of the teeth that are probably all veneers, and I don't care. They're gorgeous.
And she's actually like, and I said before, like, I think that she, if nothing problematic, or if she doesn't get into like weird tiffs with the girls this season, she could totally be a Miss Congeniality. She was kikiing with everybody.
Oh yeah,
she was like having a blast. Everybody was loving her.
Oh yeah, no, she is great. I'm already loving the fact that we have drama walking into the workroom with Kidamine and Anita Wiglet and Electra Shock, because they all work together.
Yes, Anita and
Kida
and Anita, as they are billed.
Kita and Anita.
They host a drag show.
They host a drag show, and I think they actually own that bar.
Yeah, I think, and they own the bar that they perform in, and Electra Shock is one of their queens that they employ at the bar. So it's like, ooh, to compete not only in a competition with your business partner, but also with like your employee, and then to be like that employee is like, oh, I'm competing with my bosses.
Oh yeah, and it's also great because all of those other shady whores, and believe you me, these girls are shady.
Like,
they're all like,
from the get-go.
They all look over and go, oh, so is that your boss?
Yes.
And immediately, and then of course, Anita and Kita like don't really take her seriously, because they're like, oh, that's just our employee, it's whatever. Because immediately Anita, because she goes, Electra goes up to Anita, she's like, I'm not here to work. And she goes, oh, so it'll just be like a regular day.
Right? I'm like, oh my god. Daggers flying from the like, even Art Simone, like every time a girl walks in, that thirsty ass wig.
Oh, I mean, poor Electra Shock. That wig was really thirsty.
I mean, it was, but like,
that was not a great wig. But I mean, otherwise she looked fine. But they're all like, oh, look at those tassels, or that doesn't look great, or they're shady.
And I do have to empathize or sympathize with Electra a little bit, because it seems like the only girl that doesn't have like a reputation going into the competition.
Yeah.
Because everybody else knows everybody else, and they're all like, we don't know who you are, and so they immediately dismiss her.
Oh yeah,
I
think the other one they're dismissing is etc., because she walked in
as a cockroach.
But a beautiful cockroach. I think even
gorgeous.
Coco Jumbo in her interview was like, but that bitch's face looks good.
Yeah,
and she could go fuck off. And then Maxie Shield it was Maxie Shield. She was like, but she's pretty and she's half my age.
And she's half my age.
Because she's 22. I think she's the youngest queen on there. And she's so pretty. Ugh. Oh, and Art Simone's so pretty also.
They're all really, really good.
They're so good. And Karen from Finance won the first Maxi Challenge.
She did, yes.
And it was so great because Art Simone looked like she was gonna murder somebody. She was like Pluckatina Aguilera. Mm-hmm. It was so intense. It was great.
I'm trying to remember. The Maxi Challenge was a ball, right? It was
like a mini ball, but they didn't even have to make anything.
No, they didn't.
I was like, this is a lame ball.
I think the first look was
it was the naked look.
I fucking hate the Born Naked Challenge.
The Nude Illusion outfits?
The Nude Illusion. They've done this before in season 7. I feel like that they did it again in an All-Stars.
They did All-Stars 5 because the only one who actually looked good in their
Shay.
outfit. Yeah, because Shea Coulee was the only one who understood how to do the challenge properly.
God, and so like they try to rehash this goddamn and none of those outfits, like, I mean, poor Scarlett. Was it Scarlett or was it Elektra that had like the full body silicone nude?
Scarlett Adams. Yeah, and it blew out as she was putting it on.
As she was putting it on, and you're just like, fuck. And she had to like sew it, and you can see it on the stage. Yeah, she had like a little. She had like a C-section scar. You're like, oh no. And
no, there's only 2 of those Nude Illusion outfits that I actually enjoyed. One of them was Karen from Finance. Because she was the one that came out. She was in all glitter, and then took off like her bra, and it had like the suntan lines that were like white. It was perfection. That was wonderful. The other one was Art Simone's because hers was like giving me this cool like Chelsea boy like half and half like I don't fuck with gender kind of thing, and it was Gorgina. It was great. And then their hometown looks.
And the second look was their hometown looks. And I'm trying to remember, one of them was like a gorilla.
That was Coco Jumbo.
Coco Jumbo was a gorilla.
Because they're known for bananas.
Right. So you're like, okay, sure.
But she was a beautiful gorilla.
Oh yeah, she was painted house down boots. God, mama, yas. God, I hate myself.
Absolutely.
But, I'm trying to remember who, I remember, Art Simone's hometown was the cape that went
that reversed? Oh.
That was beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was like it was like dark sequins on the outside, and then she flipped it, and it was like
graffiti.
Graffiti art, like pastel graffiti art.
For Melbourne or something. Yeah, for Melbourne.
I think she was from Melbourne, yeah.
Yeah, it's so pretty. Oh,
so
pretty. Good.
I also there was no reason that Taika Waititi had to be there.
They needed a name.
Via Zoom.
He wasn't even there via Zoom.
They actually had
I 100% believe that they said, we need you to give us 20 different takes of you saying positive things, negative things, and saying hello.
Yeah, just like this
and then pre-record the winner is with all of the girls' names.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. He wasn't really there, and that was unfortunate because I love Taika Waititi.
Because that's the thing. He's actually really funny. And he wasn't on this episode. He was so awkward.
I know, and I'm like, well, I mean, granted, he's doing God's work by filming another.
For sure.
He's doing God's
work. The fact that
he,
amongst all the things that he's doing at this moment, took time to, just, bullshit around with some drag queens.
Oh, yeah, but it could have been, a wonderful video message or something that was him being silly and, popping off on some drag terms, and it would have been great. But it was awkward and uncomfortable, just like seeing Rue out of drag.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Okay, so what I think I've read and understood is that Rue's makeup got held up in customs for the first episode. So that's why. So she filmed that extra bit later in drag. So we got Mr. Paul instead of Miss Paul.
Got it.
And they're like, but we have to have. It was like the children live to see Mama Rue in drag, so we'll just film it later and edit it in, and it'll totally not be awkward and uncomfortable.
Newsflash: it was awkward and uncomfortable.
But
she looked gorgeous though. I love Rue in a silver white hair.
I mean, I think that was the same wig that she used in all of those video messages for the
does she not look great in those?
She looks great in those. I just think it's the same wig, which I was like, that's great. But Yeah, no, it was all fabulous. The lip sync was
Elektra turned that fucking shit out.
house down boots.
For real, even in that gross outfit that she was wearing.
Oh, I didn't think the outfit was that gross. It wasn't great, but I didn't think it was like complete trash.
It was giving me like was it mixed lame /
Oh, the sheer look.
The sheer look.
It was the sheer look with the
all the like.
And she had the leaf blower. Yeah, no, that wasn't a great look. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. But it happened. But her lip sync was amazing, and the song was a Bee Gees song, which brought me joy.
Yes, it was so good.
It was fabulous. But while we still have time to talk, we need to talk about Tamisha Iman.
Oh my god, guys! If I didn't love Tamisha Iman before, I'm like. I want to marry Tamisha Iman.
I was going to say, you're the president of the I Stand Tamisha Iman club right now.
I stand Tamisha Iman because she is not afraid to fucking be bitchy.
She is a messy bitch right now.
She is a hot fucking mess right now, guys. And it is... I'm gagged living all... It is... I have died and been resurrected in the house of Iman. So, to give context to what has been going on, Tamisha has received a lot of criticism for some of her runways and her sadly brief time on season 13 of Drag Race.
Far too soon,
and
she should not have gone home that episode.
And she. Has apparently there's some sort of NDA or like some legal reason why she has only started to like talk about it.
Oh, but if she's okay, so she's also doubled down on going back and not talking about it because
talk about certain things. She's gone back on going back on All Stars. She's now
but she's also not talking about things. And then she had her lawyer present, and so she's not saying that she's going to spill a lot of tea anymore because she realizes she can't. Because thanks to a Bussy Queen video on YouTube,
I did watch that video. Yeah.
The NDA that you sign for when you go onto Drag Race is for life.
Yeah, it's for an extent. It's for a very, very.
It's like forever and a day, or like or like a day less than forever.
Yeah,
is basically what it is, and it's redonkulous. But so Tamisha is now gearing towards coming after the people, not even coming after so much as just holding accountable the people who talk trash about people's runways, basically the people who tutor boot things. Can we get canceled by Tamisha Iman? I want to so bad.
Well, the problem is I didn't boot as many of the outfits as like Bob and Monet booted.
Well, okay, so Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange have a podcast called Sibling Rivalry. Go listen to it. It's wonderful. Where they will do their own basically reviews on Drag Race and what's going on that season. And they did their own basic version of a toot and boot talking about if they liked the outfit or not. And Monet has said a lot of negative things about Tamisha's outfits. Granted, she also says a lot of wonderful things about Tamisha as well. But she says a lot of negative things about Tamisha's outfits and other people's outfits, as does Bob. And so Tamisha, in one of her videos, came out and said that, saying that she was going to come for the people who are sitting there tooting and booting stuff because blah, blah, blah. And this was like before the season even ended. And Bob had heard it because Bob goes and watches all of Tamisha Iman's Instagram live.
Because he is
a stan.
Yeah, he even says himself.
He is a stan. Loves her. He goes on Sibling Rivalry and says, Monet, Tamisha Iman is coming for you because it's got to be about all of your bullshit. And he said recently, actually as of Sunday, because I listened to all of the Instagram lives. Whenever any Drag Race girl went live, I was like, yes. I'm not doing anything. Yes. Yes. And Bob said that I thought that Tamisha was talking about Trixie because Trixie was hosting the pit stop this season. And so he thought that she was coming for Trixie. However, and so he put it out there, which may have either refocused Tamisha's attentions or she was always coming for Monet. But now she has called out Monet on Sunday to say that basically Monet's messy. Monet needs to check herself because her most iconic look on Drag Race was a sponge.
Correct.
And that she needs to think about what she's saying because she's not all that. Basically, and that
right, like how can you come for me when you have a whole slew of history of booger boots looks as well.
Yeah, and so then Tamisha came back on live a little later because she was getting a lot of attention for her Instagram live, and she came back and said, "This is not because I have a problem with Monet X Change. I think Monet is a lovely person, but she needs to be held accountable just like everybody else needs to be held accountable for when they say negative things about people, because I believe that we shouldn't be tearing each other down because you open the door for the fans, which Drag Race fans are super toxic, to come and attack these girls because you're using your platform to tear somebody else down." And Tamisha said that, a lot of the other season 13 girls, she didn't drop names, but she did say that some of the other season 13 girls have messaged her or called her and said that, they were listening to people like Bob and Monet tear down their looks, and it hurts them because they probably spent a shit ton of money on that look, and to just discover that, oh, nobody likes it. Cool, I'm so glad I spent all of this money on this look, or I spent all of this time all
this effort, they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this shit.
And so she's gonna go down, and so Tuesday, which we're recording this before Tuesday, but we're going to watch and we will report back. Tamisha Iman is going to drop an episode on YouTube to put Monet on blast, and she's going to put all of the Toot and Boot girls on blast. So I'm assuming she's coming for Raja and Raven and Bob and Trixie and Violet Chachki, because oh my god, Violet Chachki, she eviscerated those girls on that episode of Pit Stop. Eviscerated them. And she said, if you are able to toot and boot, then you are able to take whatever comes your way, basically. And she said, she's like, I'm just going to do what I do. I'm going to read.
And I remember, I forget who had said it, but I think it was Lala Ree who said, because Lala Ree is, I guess, a daughter of, but not really. Yeah, but
she's an honorary member of the House of Iman. An honorary member,
yes. And she said, I know Tamisha. Tamisha will not start a fight, but she will finish it. That bitch loves to fight.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're getting a glimpse of what a Tamisha Iman, just spilling tea session is going to be like, I'm living for this.
Literally in my head for all day. Tamisha Iman is coming for you to show the girls what I can do.
And oh my god, I want to see what Tamisha can do, because holy fuck, it's so messy. It's so not necessary. It is. She's being also. Part of me is she's being butthurt. She's butthurt.
I was gonna say it's a little extra.
She's being a little extra about Bob Monet, all those girls, they're allowed to have their opinions about. That's what all Drag Race girls have. All they do is toot and boot each other's fucking looks. I think that Tamisha does have the right to kind of throw it back at them, because that's what drag queens do.
No, absolutely. And I think that it comes down to the fact that she goes, if I was in a dressing room, kikiing with the girls, and Monet X Change was there and said, girl, that outfit is, booger boots. That outfit is trash and garbage, mama. She would have been like, oh, I'll read you back, but been like, oh shit, maybe I should look at this outfit again. And that would have been that. But the fact that it was done on a platform, and Bob and Monet have a huge platform comparatively. Okay, so when Tamisha went live, she had about, I think 2,000 people watching her live. Bob went live right after Tamisha did, and went live to be able to tell his thing, and basically just say, I still stand Tamisha Iman. Please go watch her lives, do everything, support her still.
Sure.
but when to
don't
talk
come
about
for her.
Don't don't come for her. Don't come for Monet. Monet's staying out of it. But Bob had 4,000 people immediately jump onto that live.
Well, I would imagine a lot of those were from Tamisha's live.
Oh yeah, no, everybody from Tamisha's live, but then all of the people who would normally jump on. So Bob was basically doing the same thing I did. As every time somebody went live, for what's going on? What's happening? I jumped live on an Alexis Mateo video, and I was like,
she
had nothing to do with this. They were getting ready for a show in Vegas. Oh, but also it was Sonique's birthday. Sonique loves birthday. So
happy birthday, Sonique.
Happy birthday, girl. And she looking good. And it was funny because they're talking about their wigs. And talking about Coco says she has human hair wig, and she goes, "Nah, it's a blend." She's like, "Don't be saying that shit about me." Boom. And then Elliot with 2 T's was there because she works in Vegas, and she was like, and they're like, "Elliot, is that a human hair wig?" And she's like, "No, it's super synthetic." And so they're talking about it, and they go,
"It's horse." And they go, 100% horse, baby.
They go, "Sonique, let's look at your synthetic ass wig." And she pulls on her hair because that is her natural hair, baby. And she's like, Damn. And I was like, hell yes. God, she's so pretty.
Isn't she rumored to be on the next All Stars?
I think so. I don't know. There's a lot of people rumored for All Stars 6, and they still haven't announced
said nothing. We know more about España than we do.
I know more about this international All Stars that still hasn't officially been announced
than we do about an actual gonna air season of Drag Race. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Did you see that in the preview for the next episode? It's fucking Snatch Game.
I did, and that's all we have though.
The fuck?
Cool. We'll talk more next time. That was Drag Race 20. And now we're going to take a quick break.
Pew.
Ba-da-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh my God. I cannot with the housing market right now, Joanna.
Have I not told you about Capital Realty Center?
Oh, the premier realty group that supported and succeeded throughout the California landscape? Now I remember.
If that's what you're looking for, call Kathy Johnson at 916-606-0687 to win that next bid.
That's Kathy Johnson with Capital Realty Center at 916-606-0687. License number 02021378.
And we're back again.
Hello.
Oh, that's also what they did on the Broadway Equity. They did my intro, which is not my intro. It's Alyssa Edwards' intro. But it still made me happy inside because I was like, hey, that's what I do when I talk into a microphone.
Nah.
So, hey, we don't have any Marvel shows for a while, so we decided to watch Invincible. Because we said it once, and so we said we'd do it. So now we're going to do it.
So we're doing it.
Because we're a podcast with integrity.
Dun, 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 dun.
So we watched Invincible, and I've managed to not have anything spoiled, even though it just ended this week. A spoiler alert is in effect for episodes 1 and 2, which y'all already watched probably.
But we're gonna talk about it and give our thoughts because that's what we fucking do.
Because holy fuck this episode.
Right.
So first I'm gonna talk about the fact that 1, the animation is amazing.
Yeah, it's really clean. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's so good. And the fight choreography, animation wise, looks like a movie. It looks like an animated film. It's so well done. And
it gives me the Spider-Man and Superman and Batman cartoons in the 90s, but with amped up resolution and graphic technology. It's beautiful to look at.
Oh yeah, no, it's I would put it on par with like you said, the Batman cartoons, but the more recent animated films that they've done, because they dumped a lot of money into those to look really good. And this looks like those. It's so well done. The characters are all fleshed out. The cast is phenomenal.
Yeah. There are so Omni-Man is voiced by J.K. Simmons. Hello.
Yeah.
His wife, Deborah, played by fucking Sandra Oh.
Yes.
Brilliant. the fucking they have some one-off security guard voiced by John. I think it's John Hamm.
Yeah. And then in the second episode, he fights Invincible. Fights a guy like on the moon. Who,
right.
Yeah, and it's fucking Seth Rogen.
Yeah, and you're like, what?
What the fuck is Seth Rogen doing in this show for like a one-off character? But okay. I mean, I'm sure his character's coming back, but still, you're just like, what the fuck is this cast? It's so great.
It's so good. The kid, what's his name? Mark is played by Stephen Yeun, who played Glenn from the Walking Dead TV show, and he does a great job.
I mean, it's also fitting because the guy who wrote Walking Dead also wrote this show.
Absolutely.
He wrote the comics.
And I'm pretty sure you might want to double check this because I'm not quite sure, but does what's her face, who played Maggie? Isn't she also another character in here? Doesn't she voice Adam Eve?
The girl who's also in Community, because that's what I know her from. I didn't watch Walking Dead.
Oh, that is not the girl.
No,
that's not the girl.
No, it's
Gillian Anderson.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the chick from Community.
Yeah.
But no, the cast is great. I'm looking at all of the extensive notes you took because I didn't take notes on this. Because, but I love that you put down that Omni-Man's wife is greater than MJ.
Yes.
because
she's down. She is so down. She's like, Omni-Man could be like in a fucking other dimension. He's like, oh, he's just gonna be late for dinner.
Oh, he's late for dinner? That's fine.
That's fine. That's all good. And she that is the perfect superhero's wife. Who's like, she knows that like, oh, he's gonna be doing all these ridiculous stuff, but she's like, oh, he'll come home, he'll be fine, it's all good. I mean, Omni-Man is like practically invincible and has all the superpowers of basically gods, but like, she's like, oh yeah, he's just gonna be late, no worries, he's dealt with aliens from other dimensions before, he'll just be late it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah, no, it's so great. I love the groundedness of the reality, even though it's absurd, like everything that's going on is still very grounded. And I love the characterization. I love Omni-Man and Mark's relationship. I love the fact that that's the main crux of the show. Yeah.
That's the main crux. It's not the fact that you could easily go like, oh, it's developing this kid's powers, or oh, it's focusing on Omni-Man as like his superhero journey. But it's really about father and son.
No, and it's great. And it's one of those things is that, so I was sitting there watching the episode and it gets to the end and you get the title of Invincible and I'm like, this is a fun show, but there's something else. Like, there's no way that this is it because everybody I've talked to, because nobody spoiled it for me because I'm not friends with assholes. And then, like, even, like, the kids, like, I work with, like, at school and stuff, none of them were, like, they're just like, oh, have you watched Invincible yet? I was like, no, it's like on my to-do list soon. And they're like, oh man, that first episode. And I'm like, nothing has happened yet where you go, oh fuck. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh fuck.
Oh fuck. So to demonstrate or to kind of talk about more about this, we get introduced to these like Justice League / Avenger type characters. They're it's just like a superhero group. And they're called the Guardians. And they're the main superhero group of...
Yeah, we meet them at the very beginning. Saving lives, doing their things. Omni-Man shows up to help, and they're like, ugh, it's Omni-Man, but whatever. Even though Omni-Man's, like, clearly, like, the strongest one there.
Like, he's... yeah.
But they're like, oh, all right, fine, he's here, whatever, let's still save shit. And then we don't really see them anymore. No. We don't see them the rest of the episode. We know that they're there and they solve problems, and that's what they're there for. And then after the title credit of Invincible pops up on the screen, we cut to little shots, and
this is what I love about this show, is that even though, like, even with the greatest example is with the security guard, because it actually happens again in the second episode, and I hope it continues on.
Oh, I want to live in a world where every episode starts off with us checking in with the security guard.
Yes, I want that so bad. Because they give the security guard this whole backstory about, like, he's a stepfather to this, like, really troubled kid, and they've just recently, like, reconciled their relationship, and now they've, like, pulled him and his wife have, like, pulled money together, so they're gonna go to London because he's, like, obsessed with the Beatles and things like that. And you're like, this is just a security guard. He's not even a main character, and we've got so much of this, like, backstory. And going back to when we meet the Guardians again at the end of the episode, we get little glimpses of each of their characters' lives beyond their superhero.
Yeah, no, and so as you're watching it, like, upon first viewing, you're sitting there going, like, wow, this is a really great way to really build up who these characters are without taking a whole lot of time, because you only spend, like, 5 seconds with each character.
Barely.
But you get a whole understanding of who they are. My favorite is the fish guy, who
because he's just, like, sitting there, like, I'm fucking bored.
And then he gets, and you see them all, like, living their lives, and they get an alert on their watch to come because it's, like, a distress call for them all to meet up at their, like, Fortress of Solitude, like, place. / base, whatever.
Yeah. For
them to all get together and, figure out what's going on. But yeah, the fish guy's like, I'm so bored. Thank God!
Thank God I can do something.
And, I mean, you saw, like, the stretchy guy who was, like, with a kid.
He's befriended, like, a homeless kid. You see, the
fake Batman, like Discount Batman.
Yeah, Discount Batman, and he's like, saving, doing crime, fighting crimes. The Wonder Woman, like, Amazonian character, she's like apparently some sort of like high political figure or like some CEO of some company. I don't know exactly what her background is, but she's like a high-ranking like of something, and has a lot of responsibilities. And you're like, this is a really cool like way to kind of get to know these characters.
And you're like, it'll be really great to revisit them.
Not at all. Because guess what? They go to they all get this distress symbol. Well, one of the before we go there, the one I really like is the Red Flash.
Oh, he's sitting there like on a date, and I love that he's like super Russian.
Yes, he's again a little on the nose, yes. But like I love the fact that like he's like he says like because of my powers, like conversations seem to draw on forever, but then because he's clearly they're in like a rocky relationship because he's on a picnic date with this girl, but he's smooth as fuck and he says, but I hang on to your every word.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, that's fucking smooth.
Yeah, it's like, that's pretty good, man.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
And then she's like, because she's pissed because he gets the distress symbol, and he's like, I gotta go. And she's like, but the fuck? We were in a conversation.
We
were having a moment. He's like, but I gotta go. And she's like, fine, fucking go. But like he lays down that smooth ass line, and she's like, okay.
All right, go.
All right, you go.
It's fine.
And it's good. So then they finally all meet up at their Fortress of Solitude place, and they're like, why did you guys call the distress signal? And they're like, why did you call the distress signal?
Yeah, they're like, nobody called it.
Nobody
and then
called
all
it.
of a sudden,
out of fucking nowhere,
you just see a fist come and punch.
Oh, it attempts to.
To punch
because Red Flash pushes the guy out of the way. And you see Omni-Man fly fucking in, and you're like, what the shit has just happened? What's great, I don't know if you noticed this, but the music cuts out.
Yeah.
It is complete silence during this entire sequence. In this, of Omni-Man beating the utter fucking shit out of these characters.
Oh yeah, no. And this is not just like
cartoon beating up.
Cartoon, pow, bang, zip. No, this is heads exploding. This is people being ripped apart. And
it is vicious.
It is violent. And you're like, oh, this is the tone of this show.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that, like, in that very moment that we agreed to watch 2 episodes this week.
Because you're like, I want to know more! What the fuck?
Because literally, what the actual fuck? And so I did a little bit of research. Basically, I watched a reaction video from the group Previewed on YouTube. And one of them had, they're a duo that watches, and so one of them had never seen or heard anything about Invincible. The other guys read all of the books, had read all of the books for it. And so he was like, what the fuck? Because this happens in the books, but it happens in like issue, like 9 or 10 or something like that, like several issues down the road. So he's like, oh, I wasn't expecting us to go this hard that fast, because he starts the episode being like, don't read the books, because he wanted to save people of this happening. He was thinking this was going to happen towards the end of the season.
This is like the Red Wedding of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He was like, this is going to happen later on, and all of a sudden it was like the first episode. He's like, well, whoa!
Yeah.
But, and also apparently this is still, like, even though they're playing with the order, it's still very true to the comics, because the guy who wrote the comics is also writing the series,
like
so...
I mean...
Yay. But then we jump
Definitely
into episode 2, and we find okay. So I love that we check in with the security guard. They're at Buckingham Palace, and they have their cool little site, like their moment of bonding. And then all of a sudden, the garbage bag from episode 1,
yes,
that where Mark figures out he finally has superpowers, and he hurls it up into space, lands at the start of the episode and explodes. And I was like, that's brilliant. That is so brilliant.
Good. Yes, I'm hoping that they keep this like, we keep revisiting these two, or like the security guard, because they put so much into it already. Like it'd just be like one of those like loose ends that you're like, what happened to the security guard?
Yeah, no,
what happened
absolutely.
to his son?
What happened to them? Like either that or they need to die violent deaths. But I hope they make it.
Oh, and what I love about the like during the first episode, there was no violence until the very end.
Yeah.
And then once that threshold has been passed, all the violence happens.
Oh yeah, because Earth is being invaded by aliens.
By like aliens
from another dimension that are living like in a different dimension where time works differently. So also Omni-Man's in a coma because after he beat the shit out of everybody, it was exhausting,
yeah,
I guess.
I guess
like it kind of like they got in some fights, but he was just like in superhero coma.
Yes.
And so Mark's going to join the Teen Titans.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, it's like the rip-off Teen Titans.
And they're going to go and solve problems. One of them is a cute girl at a school who is Gillian Anderson, Adam Eve.
Her superhero's name is Adam Eve, and he meets their whole team, and one of them is like she like makes copies of herself. There's like a sentient robot.
Oh yeah, no, and they all have ridiculous pun names.
You know, I think the guy who has like the explosion fire like powers, his name is Rexplosion or something like that.
Rexplode. I think.
Something like that.
And then no, my favorite is the one who can copy herself. Her name's Duplicate.
Yes.
And then Robot.
Yeah, I don't remember what the robot's name.
His name is just Robot, and it's Zachary
fantastic.
Quintos.
Oh my god, yes!
Because I spent the entire time going like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is this? Like, that's Zachary Quintos.
That's fantastic.
Zachary Quintos.
Again,
top-notch
casting.
But yeah, so I mean, they're teenagers and they're gonna try to save the world, and they're doing what they can.
They get
the aliens
easily
keep
overrun,
coming back again, and
they all of a sudden just shrivel up and like.
Yeah, because their bodies
Well, we don't know this yet.
Yeah, they figured out pretty quickly is that they age rapidly because their time works differently on their planet.
Correct.
And so they keep coming back with new ways. So first they have like little bracelet doohickeys that they're like, oh no, break the bracelets. And so they all break the little bracelets and they all start shoveling up and they have to run away. And then they come back again and they're like
all of a sudden just
they're
inhuman.
like we are the power, and Robot's like, so nukes? We're gonna have to nuke them. That's the only way we can get rid of them. They're like fuck.
They've grown immune to our time discrepancy, so now there's no other option. We're just gonna have to decimate this entire city.
And and then like I said earlier, there's the side quest where Mark goes up into space to fight the he's like the superhero evaluator.
Yeah, he's like he's just I don't know what really to call him. I think I put like he's a police officer.
No, he's not a police officer. It's like when you
it's
get
like a performance evaluator.
Yeah, it's like when you get like a work evaluation.
Yeah,
they're like just checking to make sure that he's able to like save the day.
And the fact that like he's like Urath has a good defender. He's like, Urath, this is Earth. He's like, oh my god.
Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell me I'm at the wrong planet.
I fucked up. I'm so sorry. Don't tell anybody. Get better because you suck.
Right? I'm just like, oh, that's great. That's just like another a cool like little moment just to be like, oh, this is silly. This is fun.
Oh yeah. Remember, it's the cartoon and it's all pretend. It's fine. And then later, Omni-Man gets better. He saves the day. Kicks all the alien butt. And sends them all back, and then all of a sudden they go through a portal, and his mom's like, it's whatever.
It's whatever. She's
like, I've dealt with this before.
Yeah.
When he was in a coma, that was scary, but this is fine.
Yeah, and I love that she even throws her weight around with like the government agencies that talk to Omni-Man. She's like, he's not fucking going anywhere. Yeah. He just got hurt.
Yeah.
Or like she when he was in a coma, she's like, "Get me a fucking cot. I'm staying right fuck here." I'm like, "Yes, Sandra Oh, get your shit."
She ain't putting up with any of your bullshit.
No.
No, and then so then he goes through the portal, and then he just fucking eliminates this entire race of beings.
It's like unfair how quickly he decimates this entire race.
And I mean, they were invaders, but two, you didn't have to go that hard on them. He that was genocide.
For real.
It was intense.
Yeah.
And then
he forces them to make a portal for him to go back home, and then immediately has a giant meteor just smash the the last remaining people of their race, and you're just like, damn, he just annihilated that entire race of people.
You're just like, oh shit,
holy shit.
And then there's the demon guy who's a detective.
Yeah, we find that I think we start the episode and the government people are trying to figure out what happened to why the fuck all these superheroes died, and I guess the government has demon detectives on their payroll.
I mean, I think but they're making it super it's super sus though, because they have he clears everybody out every time he knows that he's here. He's like, everybody leave. I need a minute. Give me the room.
Did you notice every time that right before that happens, you see his breath?
Yep.
Because demons, whenever they go into our realm, it becomes immediately cold. That's the whole shtick. The temperature changes when demonic possessions happen or demons are present. So I'm like, oh, that's a really cool detail.
Yeah, and then the demon says that one of these guys must have killed him.
Yeah, it's there's no evidence of anybody else being in that room. One of them in that room was the killer.
And then so does the government dude, because he says, no, go figure it out, blah, blah, blah. Does he know or does he not know? Is he I'm in denial, or is he no, this had to, or is he going, I think I know, but I'm not ready to say anything because we still kind of need Omni-Man to keep us safe, because he
he's
decimated all of these.
He's clearly
he's
the superest of the superheroes.
Well, because even the knockoff Teen Titans were they're
fourth of the
they're the fourth. We're the fourth most popular one, but thank God we're not whatever force or whatever this other crappy team. Yeah. So they're already on the D squad. Yeah, they're already on the D squad. They're we can't afford to not have Omni-Man though, but I don't know.
I mean, perhaps. I mean, he did react really, really intensely to that news.
Yeah.
So that could just be him trying to overcompensate, but it'd be interesting to see what the demon detective and how that unfurls. But
tune in next week when we watch another episode and probably say, "Holy fuck!
Holy fuck again! What the shit?"
Yep. It's going to be really hard not to binge this.
I know. It's going to be
my dedication to the pod is intense. Hey, JJ, did you watch another episode of The Mandalorian?
Yes, because I found out that it wasn't the season finale last week, and I still have a couple more episodes to go.
You have one more after this.
Oh, this is just the one more. Perf. But yes, I did catch episode 7 of season 2, and shit's now starting to get ramping up. We get Mando saving Bill Burr from prison.
I love Bill Burr in this episode.
And I refer to him as Bill Burr because now I know who that is.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And so, they use Bill Burr because he's a former Imperial, person and can, break into... they need him to figure out the coordinates for Moff Gideon's Imperial ship. And he's like, well, I just need access to a terminal. The nearest terminal is this heavily secure base that we need to infiltrate. So they're like, well, fuck, let's go and do so. And so they infiltrate. Mando dresses up as a stormtrooper. He leaves his suit with Problematic Lady for safekeeping. Problematic Lady and Ming-Na kind of stay in the back just to kind of
yep,
make sure things go well and kind of give backup whenever needed. They apparently they're it's some sort of refinery for some I don't know how to spell it, but it's some material called rhydonium that's incredibly explosive, and so they commandeer these this transport truck of this material that's super explosive, and they get pirates that try to mess with them, and the Mandalorian takes care of them, and they apparently are the only transport truck that makes it to the refinery, so they're woohoo,
Woo, go guys!
Go guys, yes. And so they're just kind of like, okay, cool, riding the wave of like they're we're cool, yeah, awesome, yeah, we're totally on your side.
Where's that terminal I need?
Where's that terminal at? No. And so they find it, and Bill Burr like goes to it, and then he's like, nope, not doing that. You're gonna have to do it. I'm gonna go. Bye. And Mando's like, why? What the fuck? What's going on? He's like, oh, that's my former boss in there. He cannot see that I'm here.
Yeah.
And Mando's like, well, fuck, now I'm gonna have to go and do this shit. He goes to the terminal, and they have to they do like a facial recognition, and he's forced to take off his helmet.
Which is exciting because we haven't seen his helmet off this season.
Yep, this is the first time we see his helmet off.
And we get so much Pedro Pascal face. Ugh. Also, that man's handsome.
He was, I forget that he was the...
Oberyn?
Oberyn, yes. Oberyn Sand?
Yeah.
In Game of Thrones.
Oberyn Marcel.
Martell.
Oberyn Martell.
Marcella is Jaime Lannister's daughter. Sister.
No, daughter.
Daughter
with a sister.
Daughter, niece.
Daughter with a sister.
So,
yeah.
So then, like, yeah, so then he gets the coordinates, but then, like, Bill Burr's former boss, like, comes in and is like, hey, what are you doing here? What's going on? What's your number? And then Bill Burr, because Mando's like, I don't have any of this fucking information. He's going to find me out. Yeah. Bill Burr sweeps in. He's like, oh, hey, this is his blah, blah, blah. I speak for him. He's a little messed up in the head because of a former mission or whatever. Yeah. And so, like, I vouch for him. He's cool. And so, like, the boss is like, okay, cool. Let's have a celebratory drink because you guys were the first to make it. And they have, like, this kind of, tense, like, drink together because clearly Bill Burr has, like, animosity towards his former boss. Because he's like, yeah, you perpetrated some fucked up shit when I was an Imperial soldier under your tutelage or whatever. And so
the scene was so good.
It's very good. It's wrought with tension.
Good. It's so good.
And I don't know who Bill I didn't know who Bill Burr was. Apparently he's a comedian, but his acting here was very, 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 very good. Yeah. Like, you can sense, like, the anger bubbling in his body. And it comes to a boiling point, and he fucking shoots him, and he's like, well, shit, my bad.
No, I love that. You're just like, because it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then he shoots him. You're like, yes, but fuck, but yes,
yeah, he's an asshole. Yay, awesome. But you done fucked up, Aaron.
Yeah, you done fucked up.
And so, like, because he shot this high-ranking commander, all the people, like,
the shit hits the fan.
Shit hits the fan, and so they, like, try to get I remember during his talk with Bill Burr's former boss, they make a Office Space reference with he's like, I'm going to fill out these TPS reports. Yes. And I'm like, yes. And I thought that was so funny. So but like, yeah, so they make their way out of the room and then try to make it up to the roof to kind of get Boba Fett can kind of swoop in and take them out or get them away. Boba Fett gets them, and Bill Burr, he's like, you know, fuck these people, fuck the police, and he takes a shot like a sniper rifle and blows up the facility because he's like, fuck those guys. Yes. And we're like, yes, Bill Burr, redemption arc,
right? And I love that Mando's just kind of like,
all right,
you just did
that, okay.
And then, like, even the gals hanging back, they're like,
you didn't have to do that. Like, what the fuck? Okay. But so they all meet up together, and they're like, okay, now that we've got the coordinates, we're good to go. And so Bill Burr is like, okay, take me back. And Problematic Lady's like, you know what, Mando? It's a shame that Bill Burr died in this mission. And you're just like, oh, they're gonna let him go. And Bill Burr's his face, he's like, oh my god, you guys are gonna let me go. And you're just like, that's so sweet.
But he's like leaving, he's like, you gonna shoot me? You gonna shoot me? Are you really? Can I'm going. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. And they're like, bye. Yeah, bye. And so now they're clearly on the way to get to Moff Gideon's spaceship. But first, before they do that, Mando sends Moff Gideon a message and says, he means more to me than you will ever know. And I'm like, Daddy Mando loves Grogu! Oh, it's so cute!
It's so good. You have one episode left. It's gonna fuck you up.
Oh no!
It's gonna fuck you up, and it's gonna be wonderful. Not that it means okay. So I cried, which is not a level of anything. You're like somebody spilled water and Joanna cried. But like the nerd fandom lost their minds, their collective minds in the next episode. Okay. And there were tears. There are wonderfulness. Okay. Shane, who knows nothing about Star Wars, was explained the significance of the final episode, and he's talking to me. He's crying.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
It's touching, and it's wonderful, and it's all sorts of greatness.
I mean, I felt a flutter when he was like, he means more to me than you know. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, Daddy Mando.
Did your stone heart...
There was a little bit of a crack. There was a
little bit of flutter inside the stone.
A little flutter.
Oh, okay, so you have one more episode. I'm so excited for you to watch it. It's going to be glorious. And then you'll find your next thing to start talking about.
Yeah, I've got a few ideas up the sleeve because I'm so far behind on a lot of things.
Yeah, I know.
So I'll just have to pick one and then stick to it for the time being.
Yes. All right, well, let's talk about things that are coming up.
One of the things I'm excited for is the season 2 of this Netflix show Special, which it chronicles the life of a player. He has cerebral palsy, and it's a gay man with cerebral palsy trying to make it on his own. And go through the normal things like a gay man does in Hollywood. He tries to find a relationship. It chronicles him trying to have sex for the first time. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is kind of an amazing perspective that I don't think anybody. This is a wildly unique perspective on the LGBT community and the differently abled community.
Yes.
Which is great because we never get that. We never really get that perspective often in pop culture. And season 2 finally is slated to premiere on Netflix. I'm thinking I want to say during the summer or some point later this year, but I'm excited for it. I'm waiting. It's a great binge if you can catch the first season on Netflix. The episodes are 15 minutes long. They're very short.
Yes, I remember. I think I watched it with you guys.
I think I watched it by myself because
I think I must have watched it with Shane. I think I remember watching it with you guys, or at least in your apartment at some point. No, it's very sweet and heartwarming, and I'm glad it got renewed because 15 minutes is exactly just what you need just for these little glimpses. It's very well put together.
And it's very well written. The characters are really well fleshed out, and it's such a like I said, it's such a unique and touching perspective that it's that alone is worth diving into just because you don't get this glimpse into this kind of person's life, and so.
Yes.
Check that out. Special season 2 out on Netflix soon.
Yes. Marvel alert. Okay, so Marvel has dropped us with some goodness that I got right before I came over for us to record. So we have some new titles along with some release dates. So get excited. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. No release date for it, but I'm so excited. Let it be wonderful. I can't wait to see what they do with Wakanda, especially after what we got for during Falcon Winter Soldier. I want more. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is going to be May 5th, 2023. We have to wait so long.
So long. So far in the future. But at the same time, it's gonna pop up.
It's gonna be here
I remember just hearing about this. Now it's here. Fantastic.
Okay, so 2023, that means then May 5th, 2023 will be when the Guardians movie comes out, and then that holiday season we get the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special on.
Do they really? Oh my god.
On Disney Plus. I'm so excited.
That's exciting.
I hope it's just as cheesy as the Star Wars holiday special.
I'm
sure. I want it to be just as infinitely bad to the point to where
I'm sure that's got to be the inspiration.
Oh, I'm sure it is too. I'm so excited, and so it's gonna be wonderful. I can't wait. So then we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which will come out February 17th, 2023. And
Excite.
November 11th, 2022, The Marvels.
The Marvels. This is something new. I don't recognize this.
So, it is going to be Captain Marvel, the new Captain Marvel movie. So, it's Captain Marvel 2. But we have been told that Miss Marvel, whose TV series is being filmed right now for Disney Plus, is going to be in it, and apparently in a bigger role than any of us ever anticipated, because we were just told it was Captain Marvel 2 and Miss Marvel was going to be in it also, because she looks up to Captain Marvel and that's where she picked her name from. However, it looks like she's going to be a force to be reckoned with, and a
legit player.
Yeah, a full-fledged character in this. So we're going to get her in the Marvels. And
awesome! That's exciting.
I'm excited because I feel like I'm one of 5 people who actually enjoyed Captain Marvel movie.
I liked it too, but I think there are a lot of people who like Brie Larson fucking. I'm like, oh, okay, but still, it was still a good flick.
It's still a movie, and it was fine. It wasn't offensive.
Right, but yeah, that's what we got. What we're excited about for coming up in the next apparently couple of years.
Right, along with 15 more seasons of Drag Race. So all at once.
All at once.
But yeah, that is our show. So thanks for listening to Nobody Asked Our Opinion. You can send us an email with any and all of your opinions at nobodyaskedouropinion@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Nobody Asked Our Opinion. You can listen to us on YouTube at Nobody Asked Our Opinion Podcast. You can follow me at Joey Snow 2006.
And me at pianoman_05.
Follow our unpaid intern Natalia at The Third Rule Creative. And our producer Jonathan at Jelly Sound. Rate us, leave us a review wherever you find your podcast, and tell your friends to check us out.
Hell yes! Spread the word.
Join us again here on Friday to hear us talk more about Spider-Man stuff. We're going to be doing Spider-Man Far From Home. And
so exciting.
Listen to us talk about Jake Gyllenhaal for an hour.
Oh.
So that's our show.
Just flood my basement.
That's our show. Thanks so much. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.